Greetings, comic book friends. It has been a while since I've been able to make a video. So I have been in Switzerland for the past couple of weeks, which was an absolute blast. But that means I wasn't here to pick up new comics. If I'm not around to pick up new comics, I'm not here to do TGIWs or any other videos. So what that means for you today is you get a TGIW triple shot of not only this week, but the last 2 weeks that I missed. First, I do want to say, so when I went to Switzerland, I was hoping to run into some comic book stores there and kind of see what that scene was like. I thought it would be kind of fun if I could find, some old, silver or bronze age books. Nothing necessarily big, but get them in, different languages. In Switzerland, there's 3 different languages, so who knows what it could be. I was in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, so it would have been cool to find some old Marvel or DC books in French. But it turns out, and I don't know if it's the same in other parts of Europe, but at least in Switzerland, it seems like they're definitely more into manga than they are into the American comics. So I did find a shop, and it was really, really cool, but it was very manga heavy. There was maybe a shelf of trades, of like Marvel and DC trades. No individual issues of things, whether current or back issues. And the rest was like, there's a lot of manga, and it was a gaming store too. There was gaming and like models and stuff like that. But as far as reading content goes, it was very, very manga heavy. So unfortunately, I didn't find like a proper comic store. I didn't look very hard either. It just kind of seemed like from the culture, they aren't as much into the American comics. So, oh well. But I did get, and I actually got this at a grocery store, a very special grocery store, a very large. It's called Migros, and it's kind of like a Walmart. It's like a hybrid of a Walmart and a mall. It's all one store, but instead of being one big place like a Walmart, they break it up into individual bays like a mall has. Like, here's the clothing section. It's all in its own bay. Here's the jewelry section. So it looks like different mall stores, but it's all really one. It's kind of cool. So I picked up a couple of books of Asterisk and Obelix, or Asterisk. Asterix is a famous sort of kids book in that area, and it is very comic-like. For the most part, they kind of go around in different areas of the world and have adventures, but they are done like comics. They're done in comic panels. Right? So very, very comic influence with the panels and the word bubbles and all of that. These are in French, so I can't really read them. After being there, I am thinking about learning some French, so maybe I can read them at some point. But I got 2. I got this one because it was looking like they were going to some Roman places, and when I was in Switzerland, I did visit some Roman ruins, so it seemed kind of cool. And this is the other one I got because this I was flipping through this one, and it appeared, and I don't know what the story is, but there's some sort of Superman-esque superhero in it, so I thought that it would be appropriate if I got that, since I couldn't get any American-style comics. I got an Asterisk that had an American-style superhero in it. Seemed like the best I was going to be able to do. All right, so I think that's it. Yeah, if you ever get the chance to go to Switzerland, I highly suggest it. It's great. There's just history everywhere. Like, there's castles you just go into. I went to the H.R. Geiger Museum, which was incredible. So a lot of great stuff to do there. If you're into skiing or just the mountains, you can go. That's fantastic. So one of the concerns that I had, obviously, is if I'm not going to be at the comic store on those Wednesdays, is there going to be anything that I miss that I don't get in my normal pull file? Luckily, one of my friends, Champ, they had me. They work at one of the comic stores that I go to. And we were in touch on Facebook, and I'd be like, is there anything cool that they know my sort of tastes. So I could be like, hey, is there anything there that looks like it'd be up my alley? And they gave some suggestions, so I picked some stuff up. So I was able to do that. But when I got back and had 2 weeks of stuff waiting for me, I was not ready. I was not ready for this. This is a lot. I mean, it's 2 weeks, but it's a lot. I wasn't expecting this much. Total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we're at around 12 and a half books each week, which is a little bit above what I want. It's not horrible, but it's certainly, when you come into it, it's like, oh, geez, that looks like a lot. And there wasn't a lot that I added. Actually, I think I only got 3 books that I hadn't been getting already. So, yeah, it wasn't, I didn't do bad on the extra books. But it was just a lot. And I'll tell you what, I've been gone now. When I was in Switzerland, I read a lot. I took a few trades. I also took my tablet, which has Marvel Unlimited on it. I probably read a total of 80 books between the trades and Marvel Unlimited. I read a lot of Amazing Spider-Man. I read a lot of Incredible Hulk and sort of that silver and it's all Bronze Age at this point that I'm in my run through there. But I probably read about 50 Bronze Age ASM and Hulks just through that app, and then I read that last Hellblazer, and I had some Sandman universe stuff to catch up on. I read a lot, but when I got back, I was definitely missing sort of that weekly reads that I'm used to getting every week. The Spider-Man, the Hulk, the whatever. So I picked these all up in one day, and then I read all of them in a day. I read all 25 of these in one day. I was just thirsty. I was thirsty for this like modern stuff after just binging Bronze Age. So I was able to do it. But let's see what we had. So this is all mixed up at this point for the 2 weeks before this week. So I don't know which was from last week and which was the week before. They've gotten all mixed up at this point. But I'll start with the stuff that the number ones that I got that weren't on my poll. And again, I did read all these, so I can make some comments on them if that is of interest to you. We have Demons, number 1. So Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, always been great creators. This was one that my friend Champ had suggested to me, and I'm glad that they did because it was awesome. I added this, 100% added this. It was so good. I probably shouldn't. I probably should wait for trades, but it was one of those where I thought about it. It's like, oh, should I wait for trades on this? And then I was just like, it was so good. I don't want to wait for a trade on this one. The second one is Hulk Grand Design Monster. I've never read a Grand Design, and I didn't really know what they were about, but since I'm in such this Hulk phase right now, I decided to pick it up. Again, champ, they know that I'm going through this Hulk phase, so they're like, Hulk Grand Design, like, sure. And again, I'm glad that I did. So it's basically just kind of a retelling history of what happened, the history of the Hulk. And it's a lot of fun because I have been reading Hulk from the beginning, and a lot of the stuff that that it goes over here is like, oh, I remember reading that not that long ago. So it's been really, really cool. Like, oh yeah, when that happened, when Doc Samson showed up, yeah. When he got shot into space for the first time, yeah. As I mentioned before, Hulk has a very historied story with being shot into space. But this was really good, so I added that as well. I don't know how many of these that there are. There's at least one more. But it did get through a good chunk of the Hulk's history. I also picked up Venom Lethal Protector #1, which was also fantastic. This is by, is it Dan or Dave? Dave Michelini, is that his name? I believe did the original Venom Lethal Protector. I was kind of on the fence about this. I mean, I do like Venom, and I do like those old Venom limited series, but who knows what kind of to expect today, so I thought I'd give it a shot. And it was great. It was really great, so I added this as well. So the things that I did pick up, aside from the normal stuff, were all great and ended up being added. This is a lot of fun. And probably especially because the current Venom ongoing isn't great. So it was nice to have a good Venom story. All right. So then let's see. Amazing Spider-Man 93. Man, what a ride. I was sort of not real sure about the whole Beyond thing when it started. And it was all like, evil corporation is evil, duh. But it was really good, and I was totally on board by the end. This finale was really, really good. Until the very, very end. I don't like, and I don't want to give any spoilers away, but the resolution of the main story was fine. Sort of the epilogue bit, I don't know. Like, you don't need to do that. If you've read it, you know what I mean. It's like that's too much. I don't know, but it was good. Maestro 2, so Maestro World War M2, and this is the finale of the Maestro limited series. Maestro versus Namor. Oh my gosh, I've read all the Tales to Astonish, which was Hulk and Submariner, and sometimes they'd meet each other, and it was always so much fun because it's a pretty good battle when those two clash. And this issue was no different. It was so good. Turtles 127. So this is still in that frog story, and there's the Doctor who is doing weird things. Seems like maybe at first is a good guy, but probably not. TMNT continues to be great. I don't know. It's so good. Ben Reilly Spider-Man #3. Another just a good, fun Ben Reilly as Spider-Man story. Trying to figure out what's going on. All these villains that keep popping up, but at the same time are also locked up. So they're like, is it the Chameleon? Is it Mysterio that's doing this? Trying to figure out how these villains are attacking, but they're all locked up. So, but it's a good story. Been enjoying it. Demon Days, Blood Feud. I love these. I love Momoko. I love alternate universe reality stuff. This is the whole Japanese culture take on it is just so much fun. I think this pretty much wraps up what she's been doing. I think there might be more in the future, But I think this sort of story that she set out to tell originally is done with this. And it doesn't disappoint. This saddens me. Spider-Woman 21. I did not realize that this series was ending, and that makes me real sad. As I've mentioned, every time I get this book, it is one of the superhero books that I most look forward to reading. It's so good. She's written so well. It's perfect balance of action and comedy, because she's just quippy, and story. I think it's one of the best superhero comics on the shelf, and I'm sad that it's over. And if you're watching this and you haven't been buying Spider-Woman, I blame you for it getting canceled, because I have preached it ever since it came out, and if you still didn't get it, then you're the reason why I don't get it anymore. Maniac of New York, The Bronx is Burning, number 4. This is another maybe wrap-up. It does seem to end rather conclusively, but at the same time, the writer is like, maybe I'll see you in the future, with the Maniac. So who knows? You know, he's obviously very inspired by slashers like, Jason from Friday the 13th and all that. And like, do they ever really die? They always find some way to come back or something. So this can always keep going. But this definitely had sort of seemed like a definitive kind of end. Iron Fist 2, I bought the first issue of this and I really enjoyed it, so I decided to add it. I know I shouldn't have, but I really like it. And I don't know, when there is a minority character that is written by a writer of that same ethnicity, I really want to support that. So when it comes to these sorts of series where, like, maybe I shouldn't pick it up, but I do like it, I'll usually lean towards, you know what, I want to support that. And it's been a really good sort of thing that's been going on recently, where they've been doing this, where they've been having these, whether it's ethnic or gender based, where women characters are being written by women, ethnic minorities are being written by authors of that ethnicity. I think it's great. It gives a better voice, a more believable, and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's just it feels better, and I like to support that. So I decided to pick it up, and it's not just because of that. I legitimately enjoyed the first issue. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't have picked it up. But the fact that has it going for it as well sort of kind of tips me over. But I like this new Iron Fist. The story is intriguing. I'm curious what's going on in it. So it's good so far. Aquaman 2. It's Aquaman, so I'm going to be getting it. Jackson, I don't dislike, but I'm not super excited about Jackson. I did end up enjoying the limited series, the Aquaman Becoming. I didn't really like, I don't know, that book was definitely more about the destination and not the journey. I didn't really enjoy the journey, but I did enjoy the destination. Kind of weird. I don't mind that it's the two of them. So far, it's been good. But having Jackson there is not a selling point for me. This so far has been more about Jackson than Arthur. How much is it going to continue? I don't know. And I don't really mind it, but I would like to see more Arthur in it, because that is sort of my Aquaman. Again, I like Jackson. I don't have a problem with him. it makes sense that he's there given what's going on in the story, and it does create a good amount of conflict, of interesting conflict. But I don't know, him as a character, he's maybe a little too brash for my tastes. But in the context of what's going on in that book, it's understandable. But overall, I think he's just a little too knee-jerk, sort of reactionary. But it's good. Hulk number 5. I'm enjoying the story more than I'm enjoying the changes or the representation of Bruce Banner and the Hulk. I'm still not on board with that. But the story that's going on around it is interesting. So, it's fine. If you're not reading it, you're probably okay. I will continue to roll with it. Mostly because I'm just in this Hulk phase. And it's not... Like, I enjoy reading it. It's just... I don't like what Cates is doing with the Hulk himself. But the story is fine. Ghost Rider 2, love the first issue of this. I did get the Peach Momoko variant. I usually get Momoko variants when they're there, just because I love her art. So with Ghost Rider now, we're seeing this. Johnny Blaze is now, instead of being sort of this mixture, this combination of Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze, they're kind of one or the other at any time. It has been good. Silver Surfer Rebirth. It's a good Silver Surfer story. 3 issues into it, it's probably not as significant as I thought it was going to be to the Silver Surfer himself. But at this point, I'm 3 issues into it, so might as well write it out. Department of Truth number 17. This issue was great. Again, this continues to be fantastic. We're starting to get a little bit more information on the Red Lady and some background on the Department of Truth itself. So, yeah, it's just continues to be great. Savage Spider-Man number 2. This is what... it's Spider-Man, so I'm obligated. But Spider-Man, like, because of... It doesn't make sense that he gets, like, this... Like, some... drug that's completely unrelated to some sort of transformation like this caused it to happen because the drug mixed with the radiation. Come on, it's dumb. And him as I don't know, it's kind of too far. TMNT Annual 2022. This was great. This was a very touching story. It doesn't tie into what's going on in the main story. But it was very, very good. There were a couple moments where I was like, "Oh," or it's awesome," you know. So if you are getting TMNT, if you like TMNT, I suggest it. It does stand on its own. It doesn't tie into other things. It was just a really good TMNT story. Saga 57. I'm kind of getting back into Saga. You know, when Saga first came out, it was great. I felt that it started getting a little bit long in the tooth. Like, okay. I think the break that it took was necessary, not just for whatever break Staples and Vaughn needed from it, but I think us as a readership, at least me as a reader, needed to step away from it. And I'm getting back into it now that it's back. So I think that break was a very, very good thing. Swamp Thing 11. This was originally a 10-issue limited series, but I guess it did so well they extended it to 16. So this was... Oops. I missed that. This was good. So Abby Arcane is getting in here trying to help find the new Swamp Thing and what's going on with them. But I'll always read more Swamp Thing. I just saw this. This is another thing that I did get off that wasn't that I got off the shelf due to my friend's recommendation. Ghost Cage. though I did not terribly care for it. I can see why they thought I might like it. It is very manga inspired. It's black and white. It's the art style and the art motion, I should say, is very manga inspired, and that's not my problem with it. I just what was going on in it didn't seem to make a lot of sense. Maybe it would make more sense if I read more of it, but it didn't grab me enough. It seemed like a lot of kind of nonsense, and it didn't speak to me, so I did not pick that up. Robin 12, still one of my favorite DC books out there, if not my favorite DC book. It's I love Robin. It's so good. Though I think this starts to tie into this Shadow War thing that evidently is going on, which I'll get into in a second, because apparently I'm forced to. Dark Ages 6. This was a fun series. This was the last issue. It wrapped up nicely. It was fun. Again, alternate universe sort of stuff. Do you have to get it? No. Is it going to ever be anything other than it itself? No. Might we see a Dark Ages 2? Maybe. But it was fun. Something is Killing the Children, number 21. Something is Killing the Children continues to be Something is Killing the Children. That's it. So it was good. It's that Something is Killing the Children is a very good read. It is not the best, but it is good enough to continue with. And the last one is Silk. I decided to pick up Silk. I've read the first couple issues, and I have enjoyed them. So I decided to pick it up with some of the stuff that's dropped off. Again, it's I don't know. It's a minority character that I do enjoy supporting that. And I have enjoyed the first few issues. I'm curious to see where this arc goes. So I decided to pick it up. Or subscribe to it. That's it. So that was 2 weeks worth of stuff. The 2 weeks that I missed. Now for this week. Now this, I haven't read anything from this week. So this is, I don't have opinions on these yet. But they do, there's one book that I'm worried about, which I briefly mentioned before. Batman 122. The thing that worries me about this is this Shadow War Part 2. I don't know what Shadow War Part 1 is from. Was it in Detective? Was it in some other Batman book? Was it an alpha one-shot? I don't know, because I hate this stuff, this spanning across multiple books crap, and I'm not going to fall for it. I will get the books I'm subscribed to because I don't want to break in my collection. I will read them and get what I can out of context or look things up online to get caught up. But I hate when they do this. If I really wanted to do my dollar votes, I would just not get these. But that's hard to do because I am subscribed. So the comic store did get it for me, did order it for me because I was subscribed to it. So it's hard for me to say no, I don't want this. DC already got their money from the store. So it doesn't help for me just to not buy it. It only hurts the store. But I'm not happy about it. So we'll see what Shadow War Part 2 is about without having any idea what's going on. Moon Knight 10, which by the way, that Moon Knight... Oh, wait, it's Wednesday. Episode 2's out. I just found out what I'm going to do when I'm done with this. Episode 1 was a banger. Super, super great. And the comic is good, too. Moon Knight Fever's out there. Catch it. The current book, I was weary at first. I'm into it now. The show is great. The first episode, anyway. I don't have any problems with it. There are a lot of differences between the comic Moon Knight and this interpretation of Moon Knight in the show, but at the same time, there have been a bunch of different interpretations of Moon Knight in the comics. Devil's Reign, 6 of 6. I would like to see how this ends. It has been fantastic. There was a great reveal at the end. I want to see, does Luke Cage become mayor, because that would be super fun. I don't know if that gets resolved here, but I feel like this might be the end of Fisk as mayor, which I think is good. Like the idea of putting Fisk in the mayor's office, I think was really, really good. It's gone on for a long time, but it's something that can't last forever. It was fine for a long time. It could still go on for a while, but it obviously can't go on forever. At some point, it had to end. And if this is it, then if this is time, then it makes sense. And if it does, I'm glad that it lasted for as long as it did, because it did make for some really interesting situations and stories. But Devil's Reign has been fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, see what I did there? Fantastic Four number 42, Reckoning War. This has been good. And Slott, his Fantastic Four has been so good. There hasn't been an issue or an arc that I have not thoroughly enjoyed. And this one is so far looking to be one of his best. So, Fantastic Four, highly recommend it. She-Hulk number 3. First 2 issues have been fantastic. I expect this to be great as well. Jack of Hearts. So, because Jack of Hearts has showed up recently in something else where he is not a good guy. Was that in... That might have been in Silver Surfer. I can't remember. So, apparently there is a little bit of discrepancy of going on with this character. But She-Hulk has been fun. Here's something I was really excited about that I was not expecting. Nottingham number 6. Nottingham was so good. I knew that it was coming back. It stopped with number 5, and I knew that wasn't the end. I knew it was taking a break or something like that. I did not realize it was coming back this week. So when I saw that, I was super excited. Nottingham is great. If you did not get a chance to read Nottingham, it'd be real hard to pick up the individual issues. But if you can, I assume that there is a trade available. Highly suggest it. Highly suggest it. Mirror War number 5. This has been good. It's Star Trek Mirror Universe. I've mentioned before. I'm more of a fan of the original series Mirror characters and universe, but this is also fun. Wonder Woman Historia. I feel it's been a really long time since the first issue of this. I kept checking my store to see if I'd missed it, because it's like, man, I read that Historia. I thought I added it, but I haven't got the second issue in a really long time. It turns out it was just taking a long time to come out. But the first one was a really interesting, fun take on the origins and history of Wonder Woman and the Amazons and the mascara. Really good. And I've been trying to cut back. I have been cutting back on this Black Label stuff, particularly the magazine-sized ones, because they take a while to read. But this, when I saw the first one, it got recommended to me. I flipped through it. It looked great. I read it. It was fantastic. So I added it. And then there's only one thing that I picked up off the shelf. Probably not a huge surprise, but Spider-Punk number 1. Spider-Punk, whatever, but it's fun. So I picked it up. Also, it's spider related, so that's always hard for me to say no to. Though with this, and I'm sure you all have noticed it as well, I'm starting to get real concerned about the quality of Marvel books, like the not the content, but the paper. I feel like they're trying some different things, with particularly with the cover stock and quality, and it is not good. It's like, and this one felt a little bit different. Like I felt, I don't know. It's not all of them, but I recently got some Marvel books, and the cover felt really flimsy and cheap. This one did too, but in a different way. So it makes me think they're like trying different things. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. Like, Marvel, you're making so much money. Why? I don't know. Why? Especially when there are these smaller companies, Mad Cave and Boom and all kind of Aftershock, that their price points are the same, and they have much higher quality. Like, if they can do it, surely Juggernaut Marvel can do it. It's just kind of disappointing, and I'm noticing it, and I don't like it. But what are you gonna do? So for this week, actually did pretty good. I think we have 9 books total, even with one off the shelf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So even though the last couple weeks added up to quite a bit, this week is a normal-sized week that I am happy with. Excited about reading all these except for that Batman because of that Shadow Word nonsense, but everything else, super good. So that is it. A super extra long TGIW. Thank you for those that stuck with me. There was a lot to go over, especially since this other stuff that I read already, I gave my thoughts on that, which usually I don't because I'm going over stuff I haven't read. Yeah, so that caused things to be a little bit longer. Hopefully it's okay. Hopefully it was still entertaining. Let me know in the comments. Let me know about the stuff that I got in the last couple weeks, about this week. Let me know if you watched that Moon Knight episode, 1, 2, whatever. No spoilers in the comments, please. But let me know if you watched it and what you think of it. I'm going to go watch episode 2 ASAP. But you should like, comment, subscribe, and of course, never forget to make yours Titan. This video was brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.